Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here. Today's designer walkthrough tour. Let's look at all the details of Main Street USA for spring 2021. And I'm going to say the most perfect land Disney ever created was Main Street USA. It has required the least amount of adjustments over the ages. It is just pure Disney perfection. Let's take a stroll through Main Street and document it. And let me remove my glasses that have just fogged up so I can actually say hi and see you. So we start our walking tour today at the newly renovated Walt Disney statue. Let's cruise this way so we don't block anybody's photos. While we're waiting for the next family to get in, let's just look at how great the statue looks, all refurbished up. And here we find ourselves at the wide berth of Main Street, USA. My favorite land at Disneyland. And I know out in Walt Disney World, they were able to do all the different little cavalcades of princesses and characters going down Main Street in Walt Disney World. We just don't have that same footprint here. So what they've been able to do is really exercise all of the various vehicles of Main Street USA, which is adding such a nice energy and giving just great classic Disneyland vibes. Before we work our way down Main Street, let's just look at this flower garden and how perfect it is. And keep in mind that on normal years, we will see this flower garden very soon transfer over from these purples and pinks to red, white, and blue to celebrate America, to celebrate the 4th of July. And let's just take a quick moment to observe the flower bed that's keeping us back here on the sidewalk, and how we have 2 rows of bushes, another flower bed, and then we get to the next walkway, just really creating that separation, that personal space. And when you come up to the edge of the hub, making Main Street feel like a real little city by making this feel like a real park in your neighborhood. Across the way, as you can see, we have 2 different little parklets greeting us and giving us a straight path in to the Plaza Inn, where unfortunately for me, this is not going to be a food review. I would love to show you guys. Yep, still love the fried chicken, just not happening today. But as we look at the Plaza Inn, this is not an original building to Main Street. You gotta love the weather vane at the top. Yes, the rooster of Main Street, the cockiest of all weather vanes, up on top of the Plaza Inn, which was originally known as the Red Wagon Inn, which changed names over the time. And that's why when the corn dog truck pulled up, they named this the Little Red Wagon as a callback to the Red Wagon Inn that used to sit here. But now we have the smaller little corn dog cart, the Little Red Wagon. Every name has a purpose here in Disneyland. And let's just look at the interior of the Little Red Wagon. At least they put a steering wheel on there to make it look somewhat real. But you can see those tight corridors that those 3 cast members are working on. It's got to be hot in there, and they are all decked out in their PPE to stay safe. And let's just step up on the edge here. There's no dining indoors right now, but what this patio does offer us is a very, very cute and removed view of one of my favorite spots of Main Street. I know we're kind of doing it backwards today, but that's fun to work our way up to the train station. But the fact that they put this lawn here in the first aid, but the fact that this little lawn sits in here just makes it feel so much more neighborhoodish. Makes it feel so much more legit, like we are indeed in a Main Street USA of your grandfather's yesteryear. And then there you see the Little Red Wagon name for what used to be in front of the Red Wagon Inn. This patio, one of my favorite spaces to just kill time at Disneyland. Here's the baby care center, where if we go inside of here, and we're not due to COVID, but if we cruise in here, there is a baby photo of little baby Walt Disney inside of there. But as we come over to the first aid area, I do really enjoy this lawn, maybe more than I should. Maybe this is the moment where I show that I'm just a simpleton, obsessed with the design of Disneyland. But if we sit back here and we look at this, it does not feel like a theme park whatsoever. And I always love the moments where Disneyland really does transform into a little city, into a little town. And then we have that window up there, the center one, that reads, making wishes come true. Love that so much. Another day, another story. We'll talk about that walkway and how it did not evolve the way they planned. But when there's a baby crying, it's time to keep walking. Main Street USA is where Disneyland perfected the idea of taking 4 large buildings, cutting them up into lots of little parcels to make them feel as if we're on a main street, but we're really only walking past 4 buildings that aren't even the biggest buildings you could imagine. But oh, do they feel so large with that forced perspective, which I know everybody talks about the forced perspective. So let me show you a little magic trick. If we stand here and we circle our way back down Main Street, it looks short. It makes it feel inviting, like we're in this soft, quiet little town where we just have to find our way back the way that we started our adventure. I do always have to give a shout out to the red and white light bulb. That to me just speaks problem solving, creativity. And that's why I use that light bulb as the insignia, as the logo for my Disneyland podcast, Disneyland For Designers. Because what is more perfectly designed than a half red and white light bulb doing all the heavy lifting of where some would see a mistake, others see creative problem solving. Let's look at these beautiful cutout signs. The Coca-Cola sign that we have over here. And then the Club 55 School of Golf. This cool little American eagle. Fantastic typography. Just really takes you to a slower paced time where people took their time focusing on the details because they just weren't living in a society that's as busy as ours. Look at all the flourishes. 2 rows of flourishes on top of the building. And let's check out our second weather vane here. Oh, it just blew away from us. Well, at least it shows that they do work. Come back to us, Mary Poppins weather vane. Come back to us. Not gonna do it. She's a feisty one. I do love how all the weather vanes tell a story though. Sometimes an obvious story, sometimes a subtle story to the building that they're tethered to. And speaking of telling the story of the building you're tethered to, as we walk down Main Street today, I'm going to point out to you all of the fake American flags so that you understand which one is real and why it is. But first, let's take a break and just let the old omnibus cruise its way past us, because this is just classic Disneyland right here.
Over here on the right, we have the baby care center.
There's that horn I love so much. One of my favorite tiny little details of Main Street, and this is a fun one to pass along to you. After the second omnibus cruises past us, if you're looking for a quick, fun fact to impress your family and friends, next time you're walking down Main Street, casually point out that the penny And the Penny Arcade has the date 1901 on it, which happened to be the year that Walt Disney was born. So the penny just happened to be forged in the year that Walt was born. This is the busiest I've seen Main Street in quite some time. It had been pretty quiet for a while. Normally it gets congested around 1 p.m. when the park hoppers come over. But you can see over on the shadowy side, it almost looks as if people are waiting for a parade to pop up, which is not going to be the case. No parades, no fireworks, no nighttime shows. But it does have that vibe, and I'm going to say I'm not mad about it. It makes it feel familiar. Let's walk our way. Currently, Carnation Cafe area is just a patio. It's not open. But I do love the way that this back wall is designed up into sections, so that when we stand out on the street, we look back and see an area that feels like the city goes on a lot further than it does, giving us a perfect backdrop for the storytelling of Main Street, USA. I do enjoy both of these side streets and how they offer that little bit of a break between the 4 different buildings, each covered in their unique facades, to make Main Street, USA feel just like that. A main street full of lots of little shops, lots of little family-owned businesses, which ironically once were family-owned. But just dissecting them, cutting them up, just adds such a richness to this area than if it was just 4 big structures. In my opinion, when the fireworks shows do return, one of the best places that you can stand is right where I'm at. Because on this rooftop right here, there will be a white weather balloon that will get lit off. And the journey of that balloon will indicate whether you're going to get a fireworks show or not. And if the show you're watching has projections, you get to see these 2 structures illuminated. You also get some nice overhead items that may rain down from the sky. But the main idea is to watch that weather balloon. And if it goes pretty straight up, you're good. But if it goes real far, goes out that way real far, or goes that way real far, good chance are there is going to be no fireworks show. You have this American flag here. You have the American flag on top of the market house, or what you might call the Starbucks. And then you have this American flag here at the edge of the Emporium, and one more on top of the train station. All of those American flags are imperfect. They're missing a star. They don't have the full American flag logo sewn into it, which therefore means that those flags can each stay up overnight. Because think about how difficult it would be to replace all of those flags every single night. So therefore, when the flag ceremony happens every day at sunset, and you see them take down this flag right here, it's because that right there, that is the true American flag on Main Street, with 50 stars for each state and 13 stripes for the original colonies, as well as the California state flag. Those 2 are legit. Those are the 2 that come down for the ceremony, allowing the others to stay up for decoration, but to also add as a bit of a windsock to tell if we're going to get a fireworks show that evening. Do love these windows over on Main Street. Waiting for Andy to come back into the room for the show to reset up. Andy's back, so therefore that means it's time for the toys to go back the way they were. I do love this detailing of all the characters, the cardboard cutout buildings, perfectly put around to create the story. to create the awesome story of Toy Story, just literally inside of one window on Main Street that so many people probably walk by and don't give the time of day, knowing that once Andy goes away, it is time for all the toys to have fun and to come back out and to start to play. Here we go. I just love it so much. I love that window so much. All right, let's work our way a little bit further down Main Street. Where currently, you can't go into the fire department. I believe City Hall is closed as well. Hopefully when we do this again for our summer walkthrough, we'll be able to see a little bit more of it come to life. And also hopefully when we come back here through summer to celebrate the release of the Jungle Book film, they'll be done working on the Jungle Book and we'll be able to hear those famous cap sounds right on the other side of this wall, bringing all of that fun kinetic energy, knowing that just right behind us is where the Jungle Cruise takes cruises through the rivers of the world's jungles daily. And it's just so phenomenal that it's just right on the other side of Main Street, because emotionally it feels so far away. But an important factor of the Jungle Cruise is those trees were some of the first trees that were put up here in Disneyland. Big, large trees transported over there to create a windbreak so that when they worked on Main Street, USA, when this was just an orchard, that the buildings wouldn't blow over. So by putting a row of trees over on this side, that would create a windbreak so that as they're working on all the buildings, they wouldn't fall over. And speaking of buildings on Main Street, great moments with Mr. Lincoln long before that is where Mr. Lincoln called home. This was the actual mill to where all of the facades, a lot of Disneyland 1.0 was built here in the old mill, where they would build the facades for all the different shops, load it up on a flatbed, drive it over to the Penny Arcade or to the Emporium, to the Magic Shop, take that facade, nail it up on the larger building that had been built, and then come back over here and do it all over again. If you look at old photos of this building, you see these lights that flank each side. There used to be 4 of them. 4 lights just stood out in front of the old mill. But when they put this canopy in, they took the inner 2, chopped them about 3/4, and you can see the actual sign fixture rest on top of those posts. I just love that Disneyland has a history that is that rich to where everything in here has slowly evolved into what we see today. And as we come back up to the edge of Main Street, one of my favorite windows in all of Main Street is this first one right here. There's a family down in front of it, so I'm not going to get too close because I don't want to ruin their time. But the window that rests inside of there is for the construction company that built Disneyland back in '55. And I just love the idea that the very first window when you come in goes to the very first people that were here when Disneyland was constructed.
Stand right here.
We have a lot of wind blowing around today. But as we come around here to the main entryway of Disneyland, the beautiful Main Street train station, the trains are now running till about midday and then they stop for the day. And the other side of the train station is primarily being used for character meet and greets, character photos, socially distant. But I do love the little Kalamazoo hand cart. gifted to Disneyland. I dream of one day doing a lap on that cart all around Disneyland. Friends, I hope you enjoyed our walk through Disneyland, going up and down Main Street for spring 2021. This is a part of the park that doesn't change a lot. So when we do these walkthroughs, I'll mostly be giving you the history of Main Street because it is absolutely my favorite land. It's my favorite part of Disneyland. I have some of the best memories in this area. So it doesn't often change, but it does stay very, very familiar. And that's part of it that I just love so much. So friends, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel. And when you do, ring that bell, because every single time I'm at Disneyland, I always go live trying to take you into the magic when you can't make it here yourself. Friends, thank you so much. Hey!
Wondering when we were gonna see one of y'all.
How you guys doing? I was just saying, I was just saying goodbye to everybody out there. Are you guys subscribed to the channel?
Done already? Yes.
See, you should subscribe just like them. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Thank you to Club 1313. I'll see you guys real soon. Let me say hi to you now.
Hi.
So many citizens of Disneyland, friends, until next time I run into you while I'm talking about the Kalamazoo handcart, I'll see you back on the channel with more Disneyland news. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you even more for saying hi to me and being a citizen of Disneyland. It feels so good to be back home.